ladies, welcome back. It's the Commish 2013 VBHotties League. Sorry that I barely made so many videos this year. I know I've kind of slacked off, but at least, hey, it's more than last year, so at least beggars can't be choosers. But I wanted to give a video because we are in the last week of the season. Next week begins the playoffs. Just so you know, I changed the playoffs up from last year, the format of it. Last year, you guys had the top 4 teams with the best record advanced. Now, and those teams played 2 games per each round per 2 weeks. So weeks 14 and 15 would be 1 semifinal, and weeks 15 and 16 and 17 would have been the championship. That's really whack, so I changed it up. The top 6 teams advance. So with that being said, let's look at the standings. Right now, as you can see, there it is, that red line. That is the playoff line. If you are above that line right now, you are set to make the playoffs. But don't get too scared if you're below that line, because I got some scenarios that I'll lay out for you. In first place, 2 teams tied for first place. Sacks in the City, 8-4. Danielle Mitchell, 33 total points for. She got a Gronk. 8-4, also tied to the top of the league, 1098 total points for. Next, in second in the league is Fat TD's Lindsay Davis at 7-5, 974 points. And then we have a 3-way tie for the third place in the league, which is going to make this playoffs interesting, as Team Katie, Chad Eady's, and Team KG3, one of the newcomers, are all 6-6. Team Katie, 1118 points for, Chad Eady's 990, and Team KG3, 979. After that, we have a 3-way tie for fourth, with Aaron Rodgers' Dong Squad at 5-7, Tenny Tackle at 5 and second, Philip My Cup at 5-7. And in last place, and the only person who's eliminated from making the playoffs this year, the other newcomer, Jillian McGowan, and nobody puts Brady in the corner. Jill, you are officially out of the playoffs.
You're a virgin who can't drive. Oh, that was way harsh, Ty.
Sorry about that. You were a good player your first year in the league. We will see you next year at the draft. Try to hopefully ruin some other people's chances of making the playoffs. So with that being said, let's look at what could happen in the playoff scenarios right here. If Lindsay Davis's Fat TDs win this weekend, they get in the playoffs. Plain and simple. Now put it like this. Katie McLaughlin, Team Katie, needs to beat Katie Graham to get in. Katie Graham needs to beat Katie McLaughlin to get into the playoffs. Katie Graham and Katie McLaughlin can both still get in if they lose. Either one, they're playing each other, one of them has to lose, so the loser of that game can get in, but would have to get in by the total points for, which means the points that they've scored all season, their team. So both, hopefully, even if you do lose, hopefully it's a high-scoring game, you put up a lot of points. The remaining people, Aaron Rodgers' Dong Squad, Sonny Preferis, if she beats Jill, nobody puts Brady in the corner, she can get in with that win, but she has to have a lot of points for. So she can get in if she wins and then has more points for than one of the other teams. Tenny Tackle, if she beats Sacks in the City this weekend, she can get in if she has a lot of points for. Same thing with Philip My Cup. Philip My Cup is the battle of the roommates. Philip My Cup beats Fat TDs. She can get in with her total points for. So Aaron Rodgers, Tenny Tackle, and Philip My Cup all have to win. And if they win, they want to make sure that they score a lot of points. Only 2 people who have clinched a spot in the playoff, mind you, are Sacks in the City and She Got a Gronk. So let's look at this week's matchups. Sacks in the City against Tenny Tackle. Sacks in the City 8-4 going against Tenny Tackle 5-7. Right now projecting a 127 to 111 win for Sacks in the City, and I'm going to say that LaShawn McCoy, Larry Fitzgerald, Josh Gordon, Deshaun Jackson against the Matt Ryan, MJD, Reggie Bush, Des Bryant crew. I'm going to go and say Sacks in the City gets her 9th win, and she gets the #1 overall seed in the playoffs. Team KG3 against Team Katie. Game of the week. Big game because these both people they're both 6-6 and they both desperately need a win, as also need points for. Right now we have Tony Romo against Ben Roethlisberger, Jamal Charles against Adrian Peterson. Projecting KG3 a 112 to 118 battle. I'm going to go out on a limb and says Brandon Marshall, Jamal Charles, Tony Romo all have big games, and Team KG3 wins. And hopefully that is what is going to be getting her into the playoffs. Nobody puts Brady in a corner at Aaron Rodgers' Dong Squad. Well, nothing to really win for Jill except for to ruin Sonny's chances to get into the playoffs. 4-8 against 5-7. It's 5-7. If Sonny wins, like I said, she can get into the playoffs, but she needs to score a lot of points. Right now, projecting 104-80. Sonny's been on a quarterback stream tip since Aaron Rodgers went down. Now she's playing E.J. Manuel, Chris Johnson against nobody puts Brady in the corners, Colin Kaepernick, Ray Rice, Darren Sproles. I'm going to say Antonio Brown has another big day against the Baltimore Ravens. Darren McFadden comes back and has a good game on Thanksgiving. And E.J. Manuel gets the points against a porous Atlanta defense. Aaron Rodgers' dog saw to get the win, hopefully by enough points to get her into the playoffs. Chad Edey's at, she got a Gronk. Chad Edey 6-6 at the second, another person tied for number one in the league, 8-4. She got a Gronk, Jessica Shepard. Right now, Matt Stafford against Green Bay on Thursday, Andrew Luck at Tennessee. Chris Ivory, who might be questionable for his game at Miami. Chris Ngbonabonya, Cleveland running back, against Frank Gore. Zach Stacy, who's questionable with the concussion. Right now, projecting a 112-90 win for She Got a Gronk. I'm going to go out and say that Chad Edey's gets the upset victory, hopefully by enough points to get into the playoffs. And finally, the battle of the roommates. Fill up my cup against Fat TDs. Well, another huge game. Fat TDs wins this game, and she is in the playoffs no matter what. Fill up my cup. If she loses, she cannot get into the playoffs. She has to win, and hopefully by a lot of points. Right now, she has Eli Manning going against the Washington Redskins. Peyton Manning at KC for Lindsay. 98-71 projection. Eddie Lacy, James Starks, Nate Washington, DeAndre Hopkins against Peyton Manning, Alfie Morris, Lamar Miller, Demaryius Thomas, Eric Decker, Julius Thomas. So Lindsay pretty much has the entire Broncos deep team, and I'm actually going to say that the Broncos don't have a very good game in Arrowhead at KC, and Philip My Cup gets the upset, hopefully by enough to get into the playoffs. Alright girls, that's it. Week 13, last week of the season. Next week begins week 14. Remember, the top 6 teams win. Top 6 teams go into the playoffs. I will see you guys next week. I am the Commish, and I am out.